Hi there Aquarius, welcome back to Wild Lotus Tarot. This is your weekly intuitive tarot reading for June 8th to the 14th. We have energies leaving, completing or transitioning, the energy of death and the moon. Focus or current energies, the world with perspective. Coming in towards the end of the week, or the outcome. Ace of Pentacles with transformation. Aquarius, all the major arcana, 5 out of 6 here. You've probably heard me say it before, but the more majors that appear and spread, generally more significant or linked to the karmic themes or life lessons the event that you're currently journeying is. And it is just bizarre, this is obviously huge and very, very final completion of a major cycle in your life. We've actually got the energy of death twice. Transformation in the Starchild Tarot deck is equivalent to that energy. And when I was pulling the moon as the clarifier for the Rider death, I actually got a flash of this card and I thought, wouldn't it be funny if that one comes out again? Bang, there it is. So we have a major cycle coming to an end. We have a deep reminder to follow your intuition and be guided to, follow the steps of how that's going to play out in its completion process, which is really, heightened this week. We have the perspective, which is the energy of the Hanged Man. Some of you may need to see things from a different perspective or just really surrender, really deeply surrender and accept to this. We've got a new beginning that wants to come in for you. You're being asked to follow that light, follow that light that the Ace of Pentacles is bringing in for you. But it comes to those who can end cycles, who can know when it's time to complete and move on. So let's go to the Oracle cards first, Aquarius, before we head into the tarot. We have boundaries and we have Anahata. So Anahata, as you may know, is the heart chakra. So you're being asked to tune into the portal of your heart this week. The heart is one of our main intuitive centers. We have 3 brains: the brain in our head, the heart, and the gut. And it's been proven now that the heart actually has a lot more, significantly more electrical impulses than the brain. And it really is our true north. It really is that inner compass that guides us. So definitely tune into it this week. And the thing is that we hear our intuition in moments of silence and stillness. And things, I know definitely in Australia here, things are getting busier. This COVID thing, we're getting close to kind of getting on top of it for now. We don't know what's going to happen. And things are getting busier, and there could be the temptation to start, running around, re-engaging in lots of social action and that sort of thing. And that's all fine, and I'm sure a lot of us are going to want to do that after being so still and at home for a while. But that does sometimes cloud our intuition when we don't have that time out. So make sure you're taking the time that you need to reflect and to really listen to the wisdom of the body. We have boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Well, during a completion, and the fact that we have so much completion energy here, it obviously means it's the end of a major cycle, but this situation could keep trying to reel you back to it, right? Whether it's a relationship or it's playing out in the job. Sometimes when a situation is getting close to completing and we're trying to let it go, the universe will really test you and it will keep throwing you more bait. If it's a work situation, it's like, okay, here's another 5 projects, or here's a pay rise. Are you really going to leave? Are you really going to leave? That lover might suddenly, make some of those changes that you've always, been, wanting them to. But you have to ask yourself, is it true change? Is it going to be long serving, or are they just trying to get you back? So having better boundaries can mean saying no, holding firm, and just checking in and making sure that you're operating in line with your true boundaries, right? Staying true to what it is that you really want moving forward now. Okay, enough preamble, Aquarius. Past position, recent past, or energies leaving or transitioning from your life. You have the energy of death with the moon. Okay, so look, death is something that needs to be released, purged, or allowed to leave your life, basically. Death has a really, it's a cyclic ending, the ending of a cycle, as is the world energy. So when I see the death card, I always say there's nothing more certain in life than that cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Death is the energy that comes in to clear the slate so the new opportunities, that rebirth, can happen. So, in order to get to a new beginning, we often have to go through an ending, but that ending is the first stage of new beginning. So we need to to surrender to it. And even though it can be painful to let something go or let a person leave our life, whatever it may be for you, you know, that really is the first stage on the next cycle. And every time we start a new cycle in relationships and in work, whatever it may be, we're starting it from a place of, you know, where we're more evolved than when we started the previous cycle. And so things get better, and the people and the circumstances and the events that we attract in, they become more aligned with us, so things actually get more powerful. The trap comes when we try to hold on to something that really needs to be completed, that's really done its time. And that's when the intuition comes in, Aquarius, is knowing when it's time to release, knowing when it's time to surrender. You know, the moon is that deep intuitive knowing that it's time to allow this death energy to come in and clear away the old so you can welcome in the new. The moon as an energy can also be the revealer of truth. It can bring up, you know, information or truth to light, or reveal deceptions. It's like shining a spotlight on things. So there could be something that you learn about the situation that's leaving your life that really makes you know now that it's time to close that door for good. The moon can also bring up your own, you know, subconscious thoughts or memories. You know, that can be allowing a piece of yourself to die as well. You know, sometimes it's the past memories, the fragments, that kind of thing. That can definitely happen with the moon energy. So I think your intuition will be really on point. There can be the temptation to dive into our shadow side, and that's fine as long as we don't sort of stay in it too long. But you might be going through a period of integration, integrating subconscious thoughts and memories, integrating the shadow side, because, you know, that is a huge part of ourselves, and our journey in life is to become whole and to acknowledge all those parts of ourselves, because death is also the energy of transformation. We have it actually called transformation later in the spread. So I also feel it's highly likely that some of you are going through a personal or spiritual awakening. That's the flower of alchemy there, that death flies on the flag. And we see here that there is that new dawn, that new day, that golden coin, that new beginning, that Ace of Pentacles, that new stability, that new commitment, whatever it is for you. It's bursting on the horizon. It's already here. You just need to create the energetic conditions for it to rise, and that's what the death energy is. It's that final push, that energy, that insight, whatever it is that allows you to say, you know what, game over, I'm done with that. I'm actually finally allowing this to complete, because there's always free will, Aquarius, and free will allows us to hang on to situations when they're just begging to complete. So let's get a bit of focus on that. Current or focus energies, all the big stuff here, the world, perspective, which is the Hanged Man, and the King of Wands, right? Okay, so the world is that energy of final completion, big cycle completion in your life. So for some of you, if you might be ending a relationship, this could be the ending of a type of relationship that you've journeyed or experienced multiple times, and this is the last time you need to do that, because the world energy has a strong link to saying that karmic contract or the lesson has been learned, and this is the last time you're going to have that particular experience or journey, that kind of relationship. Same could be said about career. Maybe you've been in careers or had jobs where you haven't maintained your boundaries. You might have been undermined or overwalked or overlooked or something, and the world is saying, you know what, you have learned what you needed to, because you've started standing up for yourself, and now it's time to leave that. This is a card of victory. So it's a victorious ending of a cycle, even though it's major, and major endings and sudden and changes always have hurts associated with them, because it's the fear of the unknown. But it's a victory because there has been that lesson learned, and now you get to jump through that Saturnian hoop into your next chapter, your next life lesson. You know, we're here in the school of life, and we'll come up against another lesson, but it's really time to make that move. Perspective. You know what? Some of you may have been a bit stuck in this energy for a while, and you're now being asked to surrender and accept. And it's kind of like the spell, the alchemy that's going to release you. With perspective as well, in the Rider version of this card, we see the Hanged Man hanging from the Tree of Knowledge, waiting for that awakening or that last piece of information or that insight on how to move forward. So some of you might be getting that insight finally this week, especially with the Moon card. You've got that deep intuitive knowing and energy and things coming up. You're going to get the insight that you need to understand the situation, understand why it's time to allow it to complete. Hanged Man also talks about dying the death of the Hanged Man. There is something physically, might feel like a death to a part of yourself, but we have to accept that we might go through that grieving process from, denial, bartering, depression, anger, sadness, till we reach a place of acceptance. And it's acceptance that's almost like the spell breaker here. The Rider version of this card, I don't have it handy, but the Hanged Man actually has the posture of the world energy, right? It hangs from the Tree of Knowledge. It's actually the same kind of energy here. So it's really saying that, it's that last piece of information, that last insight, that last awakening, accepting that information that comes up, really surrendering, that's going to allow the cycle to complete and end so you can jump into the next one. King of Wands, there could be a fire sign in the mix that's pivotal, that brings something to light, that gives you that perspective to end the cycle, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But also the King of Wands for me is representing that vision that you're going to have of the moving forward. After the Hanged Man gets that insight, has that awakening, becomes the visionary of the King of Wands. The King of Wands is somebody who doesn't miss an opportunity. He's a great opportunist. He's the master entrepreneur, sitting there on that throne overlooking the empire. And from that view, he can see what's coming his way. He is ready to be the visionary, to move forward and take the inspired action that's required in order to chase the next opportunity, to have that firepower to step into that new cycle. So I'm seeing him more as an energy. It's the energy that's propelling you forward. Just becoming the energy of moving forward, and actually seeing the way through, because the Hanged Man energy can kind of be the little bit of in between, slightly kind of stuck energy, but you have that aha moment, and then all of a sudden the light bulb goes on, and that's the King of Wands. You move into like, I know how to move forward now, and now I'm just being all strategic, and I'm the great entrepreneur, and I see all those opportunities. Whew, okay. So coming in towards the end of the week, or the outcome here, double whammy of transformation. So that's the death energy again, guys. We've talked about that, you are moving towards the light. The light is that new beginning. And these cards set like this, that's what you're moving towards. The light is shining on that new opportunity that wants to come in for you. And it's Pentacles. It's a new solid opportunity. It can be a new job, a new way to make money, a new home. It can link to new commitment, new stability, new sense of groundedness in your life when it's the Ace of Pentacles. And it comes in for somebody who's walked a path, climbed a mountain. It comes in for someone who's done the work, who has transformed. And, what do you want to create now, Aquarius? Because you can take that Ace of Pentacles and expand it. You're entering a new phase of learning, of laying a new foundation, of being the student of life again. Because the Three of Pentacles is about building, rebuilding, building something from the ground up, maybe with others as well. Could be, building the foundation of a new relationship, or learning a new skill that's going to end up, lucrative for you, bringing in the financial abundance. It's number 3, it's creation. What do you want to create? Because now you've got the energetic space to go in and get it. And the 1 Pentacle expanding into 3 expands into the 10 of Pentacles, guys. So this is about being on the threshold of abundance, whether it's abundance in love, abundance in that new opportunity, or creating this new home, or whatever you're doing. This is the energy for it. But it says that first, there is a great transformation that you're on the threshold of this week. You're being asked to surrender, to step over the line, to make it happen. And we may have to go through a major cycle completion in order to make that happen. There may be fear of the unknown, but be like that dancer who is in effortless flow, who knows when it's time to release and step through into the new chapter of life. And I forgot to refocus the camera because I was getting excited about the outro there. That's it, Aquarius. That feels complete for me. I'm going to leave it there. I do wish you all the best with it this week. If it's not your reading, you'll know because it won't have resonated. Don't make it fit if it doesn't. I'm reading for a collective. Leave me a comment. I love to read them all and I try and reply to them all. It helps me get to know you guys and connect with your energies. Love readings for June are out on my channel, so you might want to see what's in store for you in love, relating and romance. I'm also just about to release your next 6 month and by the time you watch this it will be released, your next 6 month energy. So I've done the 2020 readings, but this is a little top up because energies might have changed, so you might want to head over and watch that, and I'll see you back here next week for your next weekly reading.